But what is interesting about this case is it looks very much like Letitia James broke the law. Now, I'm all for innocent to proven guilty. You know that. Due process, very important part of our presentation here. But there's signed documents. So apparently in Virginia, she signed a mortgage along with her father, who she said was her husband, that they would reside in a house, and they got a big discount from the Commonwealth of Virginia in doing that. Well, she lives in Brooklyn, Letitia James. And in Brooklyn, apparently, she told the tax people that she had a 4-bedroom place when it's 5 bedrooms. Again, there are documents all over the place saying this. She's in trouble. And it's going to cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend herself, just as it did Donald Trump.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, we have to head back to New York to discuss who, none other than Letitia James. And I know, trust me, we will be heading to a new destination soon, okay? I have a Brandon Johnson video that's been sitting on the shelf for a couple of days now, so we will be heading to the People's Republic of Chicago to discuss Emperor Brandon Johnson. But for now, we have to stay on Letitia James and the corrupt nature in which she operates in, because as it pertains to the mortgage fraud allegations, more and more information keeps coming out that goes against what her and her lawyer, the former lawyer of Hunter Biden, has been saying concerning her Brooklyn unit being a 4-unit building versus a 5-unit building, which it actually is. There's been a lot of discussion on this channel yesterday in the last video I did where we were discussing family dwellings versus units, her building being a 5-family dwelling versus her reporting it being a 4-family dwelling on paper. But then when Hunter Biden's former lawyer, which is representing her now, he conflated both and is considered and is referencing the dwellings as units and referring them and saying that she has a 4-unit building and that Letitia James has always classified this building as a 4-unit building. We can put all of that to bed now, ladies and gentlemen. All the confusion behind units versus family dwellings, 5-family versus 4-family, that's done. Because as you can see here, the 5th unit has been confirmed. Oh, Letitia James, it's time to go to jail. You are getting all the attention that you always wanted. You desperately wanted to be in the national spotlight, and you wanted to be in the spotlight and known nationally for taking down Trump. But how the tables have turned. And it looks like you are going to be the one getting taken down. Let's get into this article here. The 5th unit, how electric meters expose the truth about Attorney General Letitia James's property. For over 2 decades, New York Attorney General Letitia James has told mortgage lenders, city officials, and the public that her Brooklyn brownstone contains 4 residential units. But the electrical meters tell a different story, and it's one that could have serious legal consequences. In law enforcement, they say physical evidence trumps paperwork every time. And in this case, the physical evidence is undeniable. And you can see how undeniable it is just by the little graph that you see in front of us right now. The graph alone proves that Letitia James's building is a 5-unit building, not a 4-unit building that she has been misrepresenting it as. But let's carry on, right? The physical evidence. 6 electric meters don't lie. Utility service records show 6 separate electric service designations at 296 Lafayette Avenue, James's Brooklyn brownstone. These aren't anonymous account numbers, but clearly labeled service points corresponding to specific units. Third floor unit, common area service, basement unit, first floor unit, second floor unit, and third floor front unit. Okay, on the third floor, there's a front unit and a rear unit. Even according, excuse me, even accounting for one service covering common areas, this configuration confirms the existence of 5 distinct residential units. Case closed, ladies and gentlemen. Do I even need to continue reading on? It's over with. Letitia James is a liar. In my opinion, I believe, I assume, right? The physical infrastructure matches exactly what official city records have said since January 26th of 2001, when the building's certificate of occupancy was issued, formally classifying the property as a 5-family dwelling. But that's not what any of her mortgage documents say. And we are going to get into that. This is mind blowing because she's been lying, in my opinion, for a very long time. The paper trail, a shifting story that never matches reality. That is an amazing subtitle for this section here. Our investigation uncovered a stunning pattern spanning James's entire ownership period. In mortgage after mortgage, year after year, the property is consistently misrepresented, sometimes as a 4-family dwelling, other times as a 1 or 2 family residence. Is this woman crazy? Wow. But never once as the 5-unit building it legally is. And as you can see here, it goes through all of the times and all of the years that Letitia James has apparently refinanced this building year after year after year after year. 2023, 2025, or excuse me, 2003, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2011, 2015, 2017, 2019, 2021. And each one of these links here that you click on will bring up the official paperwork concerning the mortgage application, right? As you can see here. And this is official, just so you know, this is all public. As you can see, Office of the City Register, New York City Department of Finance. You see the URL right here at the top. This is all public record. It's here. And look at this. In January 21st of 2021, she categorized her property as a 1 or 2 family resident. Is this woman insane? 1 or 2 families. Sometimes she has it 4 families. Other times she has it 1 to 3, 1 or 2. This is crazy. In 2020, James doubled down on misrepresentation. Filing 2 separate NYC Department of Building permit applications that both claim dwelling units existing 4. Okay, 4. What makes this pattern especially troubling is that the unit count inexplicably oscillates between 1 to 2 families, 1 to 3 family, and 4 family across different documents, yet never acknowledges the official 5-unit status. This suggests not clerical oversight, but deliberate misrepresentation. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you come to this article here and you just go ahead and you click on any one of these links, she's refinanced this building, Lord knows how many times. I mean, we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we're not going to count March of 2001, because that's when she purchased the building. So she's refinanced this thing 9 times. Every time that she's refinanced it, she's never in the application marked down that it's a 5-unit building when it clearly is, right? Without any shadow of a doubt, because that's what the electric meters show. Okay, it technically it shows 6, right? If we're being technical, right? But I mean, come on, man. This woman's been corrupt since the very beginning. The financial advantage. Why a fifth unit changes everything. This discrepancy isn't just a paperwork error, it has significant financial legal implications. Under federal lending rules, a building with 5 or more units is classified as a commercial property, subject to higher interest rates, larger down payment requirements, more stringent debt service coverage ratio requirements, completely different underwriting standards, ineligibility of residential mortgage relief programs like the Home Affordable Modification HAMP. Now, check this out here. Most critically, the 2011 HAMP mortgage modification, with its telltale handwritten for fam notation, meaning for family notation, provided federally subsidized relief that was explicitly unavailable for 5-unit buildings. Let's go back up here very quickly. Do you see this here? 2011. This is fraud. This right here, August 23rd, 2011. She categorized this as a 4-unit building, but it's a 5-unit building. So she essentially received relief that she wasn't qualified for because she technically has a commercial property. Come on, man. Can we lock this woman up already? This is nuts. This is nuts. Let me read that last sentence. By representing her property as a 4-unit rather than 5, James potentially secured tens of thousands of dollars in mortgage relief she was not eligible to receive. Whew. Pam Bondi, paging Pam Bondi. Okay? Paging Pam Bondi. The public defense shifting the blame. Oh, this is rich here because there's so many New York papers running interference for Letitia James that we're going to get into. Look at this here. This is completely ridiculous. When confronted with questions about these discrepancies, James's representatives have attempted to shift blame to the previous owner. The Times Union reported, look at this publication at the Times Union running interference for Letitia James. The Times Union reported, and I quote, the Attorney General has been clear in her financial filings, no, she has not, that this is a 4-unit owner-occupied building. The previous certificate of the occupancy from January of 2001 that listed as a 5-unit building was filed by a previous owner before the Attorney General owned the home. That's because they filed correctly. Once again, I made this example once before. This is how ridiculous this is and how desperate they are to cover for this woman. That's like me listing my home. If I have a 3-bedroom home, I gave this example before, but that's like me listing my 3-bedroom home as a 2-bedroom just because I don't utilize the 3rd bedroom. And when paperwork comes out saying, hey, you have a 3-bedroom home, I turn around and look at you and say, no, I don't. I have a 2-bedroom home because I only utilize 2 bedrooms. I don't have a 3-bedroom home. And just because the owner before me categorized this home properly as a 3-bedroom home prior to me, that doesn't mean that I have to follow that same standard by reporting correctly that this is a 3-bedroom home because I don't utilize a 3rd bedroom. So I'm labeling and listing this as a 2-bedroom home. How crazy is that? This woman really believes that she doesn't have to follow the rules. But then when you have all these news publications running interference for you, I guess that will embolden you to feel that way. But look at this here. This is unbelievable. But this defense falls apart under scrutiny. The certificate of occupancy was issued on January 26, 2001, just weeks before James purchased the property on February 14th of 2001. It remains legally binding today and has never been amended or suspended. So that garbage interference that the Times Union attempted to run, it's just nonsense. It's just a pure lie. Saying that the person that owned the unit before, the property before them, well, that's them who classified it as a 5 unit. No, it's not them that that's what it is. The city has classified it as a 5 unit because it's a 5 unit building. And if you wanted to change that and make amendments, there's a process by which you can go about doing that. But she didn't do it. Let me show you this here. More importantly, if James believed the certificate of occupancy was incorrect, she had a legal obligation to file an Alt 1 application to formally change the unit count, something she has never done in 24 years of ownership. You have occupied and had this property for 24 years. And instead of going about the business of legally changing the unit count, and I'm sure there would have to be some, reconstruction that would have to be done to the unit as well. You can't just say, I don't want it to be a 4 unit building anymore when it's a 5 unit. There's other measures that would have to take place as well. But there is a method of going about making that change if that's what you wanted to do. You've owned this property for 24 years and you've never done it because you just feel that the laws don't apply to you. Not surprising at this point, not surprising at all. The Daily News editorial board similarly claimed regarding a house that James owns in Brooklyn, an incorrect certificate of occupancy held by the City Department of Buildings says it is a 5-family structure, but that was an error filed by a previous owner. People are crazy. There are only 4 units, and the James mortgage reflects that. No mortgage fraud there. I mean, what do you even say at this point? No wonder when it comes to mainstream media, and I'm assuming obviously in the state of New York, this is like the equivalent, of mainstream, like local media and whatnot. I mean, it's no wonder nobody trusts mainstream media anymore. Nobody trusts, the official news outlets anymore. Because look at how they're lying on her behalf. It's clear that this is a 5 unit building. And these supposed, respectable journalists, if that's what you want to call them, and news publications, they are very intentionally lying on her behalf. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yet this explanation contradicts the physical reality of the separately metered electric services that confirm the building's 5 unit configuration. It also ignores the legal process required to reclassify a building's occupancy status. The double standard, prosecutor or perpetrator. This is a good one. The irony is impossible to miss, as New York's top law enforcement official, Letitia James, has built a reputation on prosecuting others for financial misrepresentations, most notably securing a $355 million judgment against Donald Trump for allegedly inflating property values on financial statements. Now the evidence suggests she may have committed similar misrepresentations, claiming her 5 unit building as a 4 unit, even 1 or 2 family dwelling to secure more favorable financial terms and regulatory treatment. When ordinary New Yorkers, people like you and me, misrepresent their buildings' legal occupancy status, they face serious consequences: stop work orders, substantial financial penalties, mandated remediation with 24/7 fire guard requirements, in some cases, forced vacancy until compliance is achieved. But in closing, yet when a complaint was filed about the discrepancy between James's permit application and her certificate of occupancy, the Department of Buildings dismissed it as a quote minor error, a level of leniency rarely afforded to ordinary property owners like you and me. What's the saying goes? A lot of you have been saying this in my comment section recently. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at rules for thee, but not for me. Letitia James is looking more and more like the Queen of New York every day. With every day that goes by, that federal that federal indictment does not come down, and she gets to walk around here pretending that she's above the law while chastising and waving her finger at Donald Trump. I mean, you at a certain point, I would have to change her nickname, right, from Big Tish, which I didn't make up. That's a nickname that's been around there for a while. But she's going to have to go from Big Tish to just the flat out Queen of New York. This woman is the Teflon Donis who can do whatever she wants. Do whatever she wants. And there is no consequences in the state of New York. Unbelievable. This woman needs to be jailed expeditiously. Expeditiously. This is just a habitual liar, constantly 9 times refinanced his home and lied every single time about the number of units in her property. That's just unbelievable to me. And I'll leave it here with this on the screen right there. That is unbelievable. All these times that she refinanced this building. And every time, not one time, did she actually finance it in the paperwork properly, labeling it a 5-unit building. She either called it a 4-unit building and sometimes a 1 or 2 family unit. That's crazy. Lock her up expeditiously. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. Thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And also do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. Link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.